Pretty. With our phantom clacker back there. It's...
Locate the cat. He'll never guess where she is.
Inside of us the whole time.
Click.
Hey, we're two fat guys.
And we just watched Tank Girl.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And you know what? That holds up in my mind.
It does. It really holds. It holds up better than I was really afraid. I was gonna be like, oh my god, why would I ever watch this? But you know what?
It's tough to say. It's tough to separate the nostalgia, but at least it doesn't have that effect where, like, sometimes you go back and see a movie and you're like, oh god, this is awful. Why did I ever like this?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I can see exactly why I liked it as a kid and why I still like it now.
Yeah. I was just doing some reading up on it today because that's what I do after I watch a movie. I read everything the internet has to say about it. And I think the best description I found was I believe it was Roger Ebert's review. He gave it 2 out of 4, whatever, stars. And he says, if there's something wrong with this film, it's not that it's lacking ambition. It's like, it went to the filmmaker's tool chest and said, I'm just going to do everything. And it's great in that way. It's really fun and interesting to watch. Even though it has some pacing issues where you're not really sure when the plot's going to go, wherever it's going to go, you don't feel, it's not like, it's not Virus, where I'm just like, blow up the ship or whatever you're going to end up doing. Like, Act 2 did not feel bogged down. Act 2 felt like, man, there's all sorts of zany shit happening.
Yeah, I was like, it felt more wandering than just
boring,
idling.
Yeah.
Which was fine. I really like the design of this world.
Yeah.
It's a very 90s version of the Mad Max future. Early 90s, late 80s sort of stuff. There's a cat.
That's going cat. Don't eat the microphone. We've gone over this before. Hey. Oh, it's gonna eat all of the microphones.
That's fine.
Whatever. Which is weird because it's also very like 80s pop art Britain.
Yeah, like it's
very. I'm gonna sound like a jackass. I'm just gonna throw out things and they're gonna be wrong. But
I know. Yeah,
I think it's very Sex Pistols, that sort of like British punk sort of movement.
Sure, I'll agree.
Cat. Oh my. Nope. You've lost your wandering privileges. Okay. So Tank Girl, like this cat, is very entertaining and destructive. And you kind of love her for it.
Yeah. One thing the movie does a lot, which ordinarily would feel like cheating, but this movie totally gets away with it, which is during a lot of its big action scenes and a lot of its establishing shots, it just uses comic book frames. Sometimes they're animated, sometimes it's just like a still with zoom. But it totally works with the rest of the world. And the animated ones are still voiced by them, and they're doing outlandish things that if you would have imagined they would have tried to film, it would have been millions and millions of dollars to try to film, and probably wouldn't have looked as cool.
Depending on who you believe, though, apparently, like the comic book creator said that they just forgot to film some key scenes, so some of the cartoon art was filling in gaps. But
then you know what? Good job, editor. Like
yeah. No, it didn't feel like it took away. It didn't feel like that at all. When I read that, I was like, oh, really? Because I really enjoyed all those little sections.
Yeah, it was.
I think Lori Petty's very good as Tank Girl.
Yes.
Like it's surprising because she's not really like. Her voice is pretty much the same she did as Kit in The League of Their Own, but I totally buy her being this like weird, sort of manic, occasionally like very adult content oriented, and then like a second later talking about like cartoon level stuff. It just worked very well, and there's a musical number,
choreographed by Adam Shankman.
Nice. I love Adam Shankman.
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, it's really a delightful movie. A lot of the comedy I think I felt held up. Yeah, and the cast got Ice-T in it.
It does have Ice-T.
Malcolm McDowell.
Super Ice-T. Oh, Malcolm McDowell.
Lori Petty, as you said. I forget the other girl's name.
She disowned it, so we should disown her.
Sure, yes.
She hates the film, so F you, Jet Girl.
Yeah, I can't remember who that is.
Oh man, we gotta mention some of the cool things in the world is that sweet device that just sucks the water out of someone.
Yeah, I was so glad when that came back.
Which is a sweet, like, yeah.
Because I had forgot that it came back, and I commented at the beginning, I was like, I like this device.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just, because the whole thing is taking place during this water shortage future, and the villain uses this one device on one of his lieutenants when he's trying to make an example of him. Like, he stabs him with it, and it, like, sucks out a lot of his blood, and then, like, converts it into water. Mm-hmm. And then he just unscrews the bottle from it and just drinks the water.
It's the ballsiest movie you could do.
Yeah, which is pretty good. And then in the end, that is what he is killed with.
So pretty delightful.
Yeah. So I'm very pro Tank Girl.
Yeah, I think we both are. There's no if you Tank Girl haters out there want someone to correlate with, it's the cat who wants to eat the microphone to stop us talking about the praises of Tank Girl.
Yeah. But no, I'm not even sure if I have much.
Yeah, it's pretty, like, it is what it is. And I think the biggest thing I took out of this is I didn't misremember it. It is enjoyable, as I thought in my youth. And for all the reasons I thought, because it's just zany and comic booky and weird at times. So good on that.
This is kind of a new example of how to do a comic book movie. Because we've, over our other two marathons, have seen a lot of different versions of that, you know, where you have the Watchmen, the incredibly faithful sort of thing.
You get your Dark Knight, your brooding, gritty remakes.
Yeah, like
and then you got the Marvel Studios, which are about as good. Like, okay, we want these experiences out of comic books, but the experience as a film audience
to an action comedy.
And this is just I don't even know what to describe it, because I feel like Tank Girl's unlike any comic I've ever read. So I don't know. I feel
like it's probably very accurate to the comic. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would definitely watch Tank Girl if I were any of you. But
coming up next, we've got the Alien vs. Predator movies.
Alien vs. Predator franchise. Thank you.
Yeah, Alien vs. Predator and then Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
What have you seen out of those?
I've seen both of them.
Okay, I've only seen the first one.
I remember liking one of them, but I can't remember which one.
I'm assuming it's the first one, because I watched it. I didn't really make complaints. Like, hey, the Predators were fighting the aliens. That's about what I expected.
Yeah, that's what I want to say, because it's also the first one. The sequel's probably
it is rated higher.
I think I also could be confusing it with the Dungeons and Dragons movies, where the first movie is terrible, and then the direct-to-DVD sequel is actually not that bad.
Or are you thinking of the Star Treks, where the odd number ones are bad?
Yeah, so that's what I say. I can't remember. There's no.
Oh God! You're being attacked, Sam. Look out!
Oh God!
We better go.
Oh God! Catch us later for more.
Jesus. Cat is giving no shits for this marathon.